Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you both here. I have with me Mr. Jaden Baker and Pastor Chris Baker. Thank you both.
Chris is fine, man. Chris is fine.
I had to say it at least once,
Chris.
just to acknowledge, just to recognize, man.
Yeah.
So you're both from a church that has, I'm sure the church has been around for a number of years, but more recently, I think with streaming, you've really got some traction. Drawn some attention. I'm in Toronto, and I don't think there are any church musicians or really church goers that don't tune into your services at least every now and then.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. You're doing some things. I don't even know if you know how far it spreads or how it reaches people, but we will get into that. But yeah, it's a pleasure to have you both. And one of the things that I've kind of noticed, just as I don't want to say a fan, but I guess a fan of the church. I tune into your services. The other week, I heard Pastor Chris deliver a fire message, and lead praise and worship. Like, you took it to another place, man. I emailed you about that. I was like,
oh man,
it's just an old man singing. That's what it was.
Just an old man singing. Man. That old school fire is what you brought, man. And it's interesting because just over the last little while, I think it was Mother's Day where I really caught on to. It felt when I was watching like this is a really family oriented.
It's fine, man. Chris is fine.
I had to say it at least once, just to acknowledge, just to recognize, man. Church, and that came across just through the stream. So I think it was Mother's Day when it must have been when there's acknowledgement to the family, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of connections here. I understand now. Okay. So but that was interesting to me that's kind of the impression that I got from your church. Before I even realized that there were so many close ties and such a big family, I guess at the forefront of things. So that is cool. So yeah, I want to talk about the family. I want to talk about the ministry, but I want to do something. If y'all don't mind, I wouldn't mind if you could introduce each other, because I'm sure you'll do it better than I could. So I'm gonna let Father go first.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm introducing Jaden.
Yeah, I love that.
All right. Welcome to the stage.
Wow.
My firstborn son. Jaden is an incredible human. He's an incredible human being. I will not start with his gifting. I will start with the person. The young man that he is, he's a man that understands integrity, understands character. He has an amazing heart, and he has a compassionate heart. Jaden is like, if he loves you, if he's ride or die, he's going to support you.
Yeah.
And he's just a tremendous young man. That him and my mom, not my mom, but his mom and I, we're both tremendously proud of the young man that he is, and what people experience as it pertains to his gift is. We're proud of that too. But the main thing is he's a great human. Jaden, he treats people with respect, and man, we're so incredibly proud of the young man that he is, and the musician, the Grammy Award winning, the Dove Award winning. And I know he hates to talk about that stuff. That's just how we're wired. But we are just incredibly proud of all that God is doing in Jaden's life.
Nice.
Yeah, and everything he just said.
Preacher.
Yeah, I guess. Everything that was just said is because of the man that is Chris Baker. I mean,
love that.
From the jump, he's responsible for how I carry myself, the way I am, the way I treat people. My mother plays a role as well. But in terms of being and growing into a young man, all of that is because of Chris Baker. The Grammy Award winning. See, we're going to go there too. You want to go there with me?
Let's
you know
do
what I'm
it.
saying? He got one too. Let's do it.
Big,
Pops is the GOAT.
I love it, man.
So,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
See, there's no way I could have introduced either of you with that level of authenticity, even. Amazing, man. So I know that, you've both been called to do a very special work. I think a work that you've probably both been doing for a long time, but seems like it's still just beginning. And with Chris, I guess leading the way. I'm curious, Jaden, what or actually, I'm going to ask you this first, Chris. Was it intentional? Like, did you intentionally guide Jaden in this direction? Because I find it very interesting that you took similar paths. It doesn't always work out like that with, father son
Yeah,
relationships.
man, that's a great question. I will say, were we intentional? I would say yes. Um, when I believe that kids are born geniuses, we as parents dumb them down. And so, the thing that I've always said to Jaden from the time that he was born was, "You are a genius. You are a genius. You are a genius." I knew that Jaden had a gifting towards music early on. I think when he was born, man, I would hold him, and at night, of course, I did the night shift with Jaden, and so we'll
Yeah.
stay up all night. He's like a newborn, probably a couple months old. We would look at Ray like every night. Oh, just Ray, the Ray Charles story, Jimmy
Yeah.
Fox playing, and we would just look at that movie and look at that movie and look at that movie, and he didn't know what was going on, but he would just be just mesmerized
Yeah. Yeah.
with that movie. And
Huh.
then I just started seeing anytime you turn music on, it's like a light would turn on. He never looked at cartoons. He never really got into action figures and superheroes. That wasn't his thing. It was always he was a little child, it was always music. And so
Wow.
when I saw that gifting, God allowed me to see that gifting.
Yeah.
We just fanned the flame, man. We were like, okay, God, as his father, I want you to show me the purpose of my child, who he is, why you placed him on this earth. That's our
Mm,
responsibility as parents.
true.
And, God kind of gave us insight into that. And all we did was create an environment that would put a demand on what was already inside of him. That's it. I
That's
kept
it.
him around music. I
Yeah.
told him he was a genius. We celebrated everything he did, and God took care of the rest. So that part was intentional. It was when God showed me that his path was in music, then the intentionality came in. How do we shape it? How do we pour
Nurture it.
into it?
Yeah.
And so that part was
Interesting. Okay, that's awesome. Makes a lot of sense. And for you, I guess for you, Jaden, just to throw it back, was there a point, or do you remember when you realized that not only you had, this gifting, this genius in you, um, before there was probably long before you would have said there was a call on your life. When did you realize that you could even learn so much from your father?
Oh man, honestly, I mean, he said it from the jump. He was always pouring into me, surrounding me with certain musicians, and
Yeah,
it was just kind of my thing. And I think I realized it when I understood that I was never forced into this. It was me myself that was like, okay, what's next? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Let me study this guy. And start
Mhm.
watching drum DVDs instead of Little Einsteins or regular TV shows for 3 year olds. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was when I started to just just kind of go about it on my own. And of
yeah.
course,
Makes sense.
I didn't realize that until I got older. But yeah, because I live a balanced lifestyle as it is. It was never like you got to practice, then you can go play. I mean, you see the PS5 right here. I'll be on the game. I'll be
Yeah, yeah.
doing normal teenage or
Some
young adult
balance.
stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was playing basketball as a kid, all of that. I was never forced to do this. It was more so my own desire. So I think that's kind of what led to that.
That makes sense. And I say
Yeah.
thank God for the church for that too, because I know there are a lot of musicians who initially got kind of pushed into, it's usually piano lessons, but into some sort of music lessons
Yeah.
and don't last too long. They quit. They
No.
hate it. It's not fun. They're learning music in a way that's not musical. But with a lot of us church musicians, we don't have that. I mean, there might be pressure because you got to fill a spot, but it's not like that structured way of learning. So music becomes more of a language and feeling and an understanding more than anything. So I get that. That's real cool. All right. I know I don't have you for a long time, so I have a lot of questions. I'm going to just kind of jump around a little
Let's
bit
do
here.
it.
So bear with me.
Let's do
But,
it.
so right now, Chris, I mean, I know Jaden, you've come a long way. We're skipping a lot of years in between. But how does it feel right now? Because I mean, you have a son who's been on tour, doing all sorts of big things, big shows, working with all sorts of artists. Israel, Darwin Hobbs, um, Torrin Wells. I'm sure the list goes on. By the way, that that Darwin Hobbs song, I heard it first at the Bridge. I don't know if you did it like, I think you probably did it like right after it dropped.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
man, that song has gone
Hmm.
to my church and taken over. Yeah, I love
Oh
that song,
wow,
man.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's big. It's big. Okay, I
Yeah.
almost forgot my question though, because I just trying to had to throw that in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it feel as a father, like watching your son do all these things now? What's that feeling like?
It's the greatest feeling, Tina, which is my wife and I, we have three boys. And I think the
Yeah,
greatest feeling, man, is to know that your kids are operating in their purpose. What more can you ask for? And so to see him and even his younger brother Josiah and Judah, they're finding their path. But when you
yeah,
see your child operating and doing the thing that God placed them on this earth to do, there is
yeah,
no better feeling
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're living in purpose. They're living on purpose. And so to see him travel and to see him take stages and produce and do what he's doing, man, is so inspiring. I
Mm,
think the greatest blessing, and I'll shut up, is my son. He inspires me.
mm,
I'm inspired by my son,
that's big.
his work ethic, his hunger, his humility. It's just desire to continue to just to be the best that he can.
Right. Yeah.
That's an inspiration. So what more can you ask for as a father?
Hmm.
That's it for me.
That's big. That's big. Did you see this coming though? Like, I know it's been a little while and things have progressed and grown, but was there a point where you were like, you could see that this was the definite path and, Jaden would reach kind of these heights that he's been able to already?
Um, yes. I was going
Okay.
to say no, I didn't, but I will lie.
Okay. Okay.
If you go to the store and buy apple seeds and you
Hmm.
take those apple seeds and you plant it in the right soil and you nurture it, you don't expect to grow oranges, do you?
I hope not.
You expect apples to
Yeah,
grow, right?
absolutely.
So
Yep.
when God revealed to us his purpose, all we did was put it in the right environment.
Right.
We nurtured it. And so the fruit is just a product of what was planted. So I'm not
Makes
shocked.
sense. Makes
I
sense.
told him, yeah, before you are 21, certain things are going to happen in your life. And
Mm.
I'm not prophetic. It is, no, you can see it. It's not a shock to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My ceiling is his floor. Where I stop is where
Mm.
he begins. So
Mm.
I'm not shocked by anything that God's doing in his life. I'm like, God,
Amazing.
what's next? What's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
next?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Jaden, sorry that we're just talking about you while you're sitting here.
Oh man. Wow, man.
No, it's awesome, man. Just celebrating what you've done. That's all. So
Appreciate
father,
that.
son, I mean, we've all gone through things. Not everybody works so closely with their father, but even still just life, getting through things day to day. But I know, working closely with, family or just people in general, not every day is a great day. So I'm sure I imagine there's been some times of tension and some other things. I won't ask you to tell any stories on that, but I mean you can if you think it might help somebody.
Yeah.
But I mean, just working so close. Let's just focus on the church. We'll say so. Working so closely, with the church band. Has there ever been times where like that created tension or?
Go ahead, Jay,
Yeah.
answer that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, okay, okay.
And really what it is just, you know, I think it's just a generational thing. Like
That's
there's some
good, son.
things that are valid to me that aren't valid, to him. And then
Yeah,
me coming in, there was rules that have already been set that, I would try to, work around, or if I didn't agree with it because I'm on main keys, I'd find a way to not just little stuff. So
got you,
I,
got you.
I, I think that's the main thing. But as I've gotten older and spent more time and, under the legacy that's been built through the bridge and,
Yeah,
years before, I've grown to understand like the importance of playing my role and, you know, building on top of more so helping it grow than kind of
Mhm.
tarnishing what was already built,
That's
if that
good,
makes
son.
sense. Yeah.
catch the vision, run with it.
Yeah. Just
I'm a,
kind of being
yeah.
the mediator, finding the
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
ground to,
That makes
That's
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
makes sense.
huge, man. Jay, you said something that's so great because I think sometimes both generations get it wrong.
Hmm.
Where the older generation is like, y'all don't know, you ain't paid your dues. Shut up and get over there in the corner and just do what I tell you.
Hmm.
And then you got the younger generation that's like, yo, y'all old, you don't know what you're talking about. Things have changed. It's time to go
Hmm.
this new way. And I'm like, every
Right.
time you do that, you start over. Like generational wealth is something that is accumulated through generations. They don't start from scratch. And so when
True.
it comes to knowledge, when it comes to wisdom, when it comes to musicianship,
Yeah.
if an older generation is like, yo, I'm holding on to it, y'all don't know, and then the younger generation are like, y'all too old, y'all don't know. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you expect to take this to the next level? You're going to have to work harder to go further, as opposed to me saying, man, listen, I have gotten it wrong. God knows, my generation, and Jaden to tell you that my generation, there was one talkback mic. There weren't five. There was one
Right.
talkback mic, and it came from the MD.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
MD said we were going, that's where we were going.
That was it.
Jaden's generation is everybody got to talk back. It's collaborative. It's like, yo, I had to learn, like, oh, okay, so this is different. So in the times that I
Mm.
did miss it, and whether I was like on the talk back and I might have said, Jake, what are you doing? Or, taking a,
Yeah.
a bad tone. One
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
I had to do is I apologized to him, but I didn't just apologize to him at home. Because if I did it on a
Hmm.
talk back mic, guess what I need to do? That next Sunday on that talk back mic, I need to say, hey guys, as his dad, I missed it. I took a tone that I shouldn't have taken. And I think when you do that, you build equity,
That's big.
and
Yeah.
and I think that's huge. So that's why I love what you said. You don't have to start over. It's like, no, you can build and take what it is that we've established to the next level. But that goes both ways. Honor goes both ways.
That's huge. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. And I mean, I completely understand. I also, myself, I serve as music director at my church. My pastor's a very musical man. He has very musical past, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Came a little
Yeah.
weird, musical man.
Yeah.
He was on the road. He did some traveling with some
Yeah,
groups,
man.
in his time. And, so even between that, we've had some differences of opinions and just the
Yeah.
way we see things. But adding to that, my wife is also the worship leader there. My
Yeah.
daughter is on the
Yeah.
worship team, so she leads
Okay.
sometimes too. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
there are a lot of pieces where there could be differences of,
Yeah.
even just stylistically, just you could take one song and hear it, 1,000 different ways, and just
Yeah.
those little things,
Yeah.
which actually, I want to ask you about that too, because there are some times where you flip songs. Pretty often, you'll flip a song. What's that process like? Is it collaborative, similar to like having the multi talkbacks? Is everyone kind of chiming in, or is that just like
Yeah.
just a feel thing? How does
So
that work?
yeah, a lot of the stuff first, we don't rehearse like as often as people think we do. A lot
Mm,
of the a lot of the chemistry and stuff is just the years me personally, that I've spent watching them,
right.
specifically Pops, AJ, and Manny, who have been there 20 plus. Um, but a lot of that is just me studying how they go about, like their feel towards songs. And a lot of them arrangements, man, honestly, are just made through doing those songs maybe once every 3 months or whatever. We
Yeah.
just kind of add new things and just it becomes retention. But very rarely do we sit down and be like, okay, here's what we're gonna play on this song. Learn this by Sunday, unless
Gotcha.
it's like a
A
Christmas
specific
Sunday
arrangement.
or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Easter. Yeah, 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 man.
That's cool. Quick
Very
question here.
chemistry.
Just curiosity, because I mean, you're a multi instrumentalist as well, Jaden. Do you have a preference?
Uh, if only if I'm producing or like just in some sort of lead role, I would much rather be on piano just because I mean I have control of the arrangements. I know where I'm playing, all of that stuff, and then I
Yeah.
can bring people in. But I've done records. I've done records on bass and indeed from there and so on and so forth. So really, just the whole really just the production aspect is what changes it for me.
Gee.
Just
Okay.
having that control, but
Makes
it don't
sense.
really
Yeah.
matter to
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, you're at the top of the game on on many instruments. So it's
Thank
cool.
you,
I'm
man.
pretty sure you've had many viral clips, both on bass. Actually, the first time I saw you, and it might have been like years later thing, but Sean Wilson did
Yeah.
what's it called? Why can't I'm losing it? He transcribed when you're, I think it was just you playing in your bedroom, some drop two stuff,
Yeah.
like when you're like 13 years old. I don't know how long
Yeah.
after it was, but that
Yeah,
was
man.
interesting because it
I
was
know
like,
exactly what you're
that
talking
shows
about.
the levels. You're 13 years old and you have grown man checking out this, him breaking down what you were playing in that moment. Yeah, that says a lot. That says a lot. Me personally, I love to hear you on bass. I don't get to too often, but every now and then a clip pops up, and
Yes, sir.
it's always fire, man.
I appreciate that, man.
There's actually, I'm going off track, but there's this one clip. It was one of the Israel songs, and there was a joke running that you may very well have paid the sound engineer because your bass was so forward in the
live
mix.
stream. He was at that show. He was at that show. Yeah. I don't know what that was, man. We were at Abundant Life. It was a beautiful church in El Paso. Okay. We did that set with Iz, and everything was cool. We go to that broadcast mix, and I'm the loudest thing in that mix. Yeah. And I was like, yo, did they
bass in your face?
Yeah. Trust me, 1,000%.
That was crazy. Yeah, man. But that was a couple of years ago, right?
It was a couple years back when I heard that.
You might have been, were you 15, 16? You might have been 15 to 16.
I think so. Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, that was a joke for sure. I remember that. People like, he definitely handed that sound engineer some cash. He was.
Oh my God. Whoever that engineer is, if you're watching, I appreciate you, my brother. Or sister.
We all appreciate you too, man, because you did put on a master class.
Nah, man. That was a good time. That was a good
nice
time,
man. All right, let me stay on track. So I want to ask this. So we're talking about just your playing, obviously phenomenal. There's a lot of church musicians are, getting some exposure, and if not reaching for some exposure in some cases, trying to be seen, trying to be heard. What can you tell us about, a transition from going from, a church musician to now a touring musician? Are there different, approaches that you take in each role?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. The biggest thing I've learned is to be you. I mean, do not let these different environments change how you carry yourself. 80% of the time you're off stage, or you're just around these people speaking through the touring lens. You're only on stage for about an hour of course, some people do 90-minute sets, but still, the 8 other hours in the day, you're around people and they're getting to know you and, learning you, all of those things. So stay true to yourself. Cause it goes a long way for sure. Somebody said that it's your talent that gets you called. It's your character that keeps you. So,
that's big.
That kind of, that stuck with me for years, man. Through all the different camps that I've been in, I've always been me, you know what I'm saying? So, but through playing, man, it's important to study what the gig calls for versus what you're comfortable with. One thing I learned that being with touring, because before touring, the only consistent keys thing I ever did was the church. And, we kind of do everything in terms of style in the Christian, space. But touring got pop songs, touring got CCM songs. He's got all these different things. Some songs I won't even be playing piano. It's just all, how am I about to fill up this space? So I trained that muscle through touring's camp, and it kind of just, stayed with me the years after. So learning to respect the camps that you're walking into and staying true to you are, to me, the two biggest assets.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's definitely
just through my experience.
No, I love that. I mean, I think I could throw this out to both of you. What, if anything, has, playing or touring, we'll say, just traveling as a musician, let's say, that taught you that maybe playing as a Sunday church musician didn't? Is there anything? I don't know.
You want to take a That's a great question. No, you go ahead, man. You're in it.
You're on fire.
I'm doing it a long time ago.
So
I'll follow up.
So you're basically saying you're saying what are the differences between, or what is something that the road has taught me that church hasn't?
Yeah, and I felt weird asking it, but I think you know what I mean, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Asking it that
The
way,
road,
yeah.
man. Yeah. The road is a whole nother, well, first it's just etiquette. Let's forget the instrument stuff. You're doing life with these people. So, you want to again carry yourself a certain way. You don't want to be the nasty dude on the bus, all of these things. But from a musical lens, this is where I almost want to call it, I'll call it a luxury. I will. But again, my church is as open as we are to doing all these different types of things, and not just being like, we're not just a storefront church.
One thing, yeah.
We'll give you Elevation one Sunday. We'll give you John P. Key the next. You know what I'm saying?
There
So,
you go. Yep.
the versatility aspect would be the biggest thing, but I kind of train those muscles being at my church and doing what we do. So, um, but
Nice.
yeah, being on the road, man. I mean, yeah, that's to me, that's that's why I asked you because you started differently in church. Y'all were
Yeah.
only this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Makes
Not,
sense. Yeah,
Then when
not
you got
everything you
100%.
Gigi
said.
and Iz,
Yeah. Everything you
that's
said
two
was
different
great.
worlds.
I think for me, my thought is I never looked at the road as promotion.
Okay.
I always looked at me serving in my local church as one of the highest honors. So it wasn't like I'm just playing at the church and I'm just this at the church. But then when I get in an arena with 50,000 people, then I become something else. And oh, you going to really hear me play?
Mm,
No, if it's 50, I'm going to play. I'm going to be prepared. I am going to show up with a level of professionalism that if it's 50 or 50,000, it does not matter because those are my standards.
right. Yeah.
I don't let the arena or the audience set my standards. My standards are my standards. And so
Right.
for me, the local church, it prepared me for the road. It wasn't like the road was better. I wouldn't have been ready for the road had I not learned and cut my teeth and served in the local church.
Makes sense.
I learned character in the local church. I learned to show up prepared in the local church. And my story with is, I was never one. I never did like jam sessions, and I was never about networking. That's just I'm an introvert. That's just not my thing. I met serving at my local church. Iz showed up on a Sunday morning, and if you know anything about Iz don't sound check. He don't like sound checks and none of that stuff. He showed up, and I had made sure because I'm the worship pastor there, but I wanted to make sure that the team was prepared.
Right. Yep.
And so we learned everything. I didn't just listen to what his MD sent me. I went
Mm,
and I studied his YouTube clips, his live, the way they did it live,
yeah. Yeah.
because honor anticipates. I didn't want him to
Mm,
show up and be like, I'm just at a church. No, I wanted him to show up and feel like, yo, I got my band with me, my singers with me. And so, but I learned that in the local church. It didn't just happen on that Sunday whenever it showed up. I tried to live that way. So I know I'm taking a long time to answer it, but I didn't,
no, keep it. I love
yeah,
this.
Jaden hit on it. You learn, how to handle yourself on the road. But when it comes to the main thing, which is integrity, which is professionalism, which is character, which is how to be a professional, man, you learn that in your local church. And the transition to the
Facts.
road is easy. It's hard whenever you're one way at church and you treat church like it's just
Mm,
whatever. And now you want
yeah.
to get out
Yeah.
here because there's 10,000 people there. Now you want to show up. No, that right there is an integrity gap. And that's a whole nother thing we
Mm,
got to deal with. So
that's
that's my
big.
thought as pertains to it.
That's big. And I love
Yep.
that. And I love that you said the local church. You took it as, the highest honor.
Yeah.
I feel like that's in a lot of cases that could. I mean, I'm not judging anybody, but that could be. It seems to be lost in a lot of cases
Hmm.
now. It seems that social media and there's a chase. There's a chase for this higher level, but that higher level without those higher standards first doesn't seem to
Yeah,
work.
man. Like
So
when you do that right, you don't have to chase dreams. Dreams chase you. You don't
Man,
have to open doors, bro. You don't
you're
have to,
preaching, man.
oh, I
Yeah,
got to get out there and I got to go to NAM. I love NAM. I love networking. But the thing I had to
yeah,
teach Jaden was, hey, son, if you will handle this right,
yeah.
you will never, God is the greatest gentleman. You know what that means? He'll get every door for you. You ain't got to,
Mm,
I've never had to open a door. Never. He has never had to call anyone to say, hey, can I get on your tour? Can I come
yeah.
play with you? It was always, they came and sought him out. You know why?
Mm,
Because he was like, the main thing is the main thing. What I am doing, my standards, this is the main thing. And it will open doors for you. That's your
that's it.
gift making room for you.
That's the definition of it. Yeah, I love that. While we're on standards, I want to ask. I know there might be some people listening who are going through something, similar to this. So, as a musician, I assume, I hope that you have a high standard for yourself and integrity in what you're doing, and not only building yourself musically, but the character that goes along with that. But in some churches, and worship teams are all different. People coming, there's volunteers involved. There's people coming from all different, approaches to what music is. Not everybody is a career musician. And with that, you could get some imbalance depending on, just what your local church looks like. What do you say for someone who has that high standard, is committed to a church, but isn't met with the similar standard?
As far as the team around him
So as far
or
as the
her.
team, as far as the environment in the church, not all churches take music as seriously. Um,
That's a great thing. And that's a great question. And I've lived that. I've been through that as well.
yeah, okay.
One of the greatest principles that I've learned, and Jade, and I'll turn it over to you, son, is control the controllables. Control what you can
Mm,
control. I can't control the pastor. I can't control the alto that's singing. I can't control if the guitar player is going to. Well, know what I can control is how I show up
mm, yeah,
because that's my standard. And I do
yeah.
believe this. Good and great can't coexist. Yeah. Good and great can't coexist.
You got to go further on that, man.
Well, here's the thing. When you have standards and you are, I'm going to be a good steward. I will tell you this. If your environment can't handle your greatness, God will bring an environment that can.
Mm,
That's the way it
that
works.
makes
But
sense.
you
Yeah,
won't never have to be searching for it. It'll come
right,
knocking on your door.
right.
That is the thing. If I can teach younger generations that are so anxious, I'm anxious for what's next. I'm
Yeah,
anxious
yeah,
for this big opportunity. My world, it sucks, man. They can't be, they don't care.
yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're trying to control stuff that God never graced you to control. That ain't you. You know what?
Mm,
You show up knowing that arrangement inside and out. You show
right,
up knowing making sure that your patches are full and you have spent your time. You do that. And I
right.
guarantee you, if the environment cannot handle your greatness, God will send you to an environment that can. That's the way
Mm,
this thing works. That's what I believe. All right, Jay, I turn it to
wow.
you, sir.
I think we're ready for altar call after that one, then.
Yeah, nah, man. Everything he said, man, and he's been in those positions and, as worship pastors and all of that, the years that you've done it. So you've experienced all of that. And everything he said, man, is what's been poured into me. So I'm a living
Big, yeah.
example of that. That's all I gotta say on that, man.
That's
He's
big.
lived it.
Yeah, yeah, man. Okay, I know you have a tea time. I know golf is a huge part of your life. You preached the whole message on it, so I don't want to
You
mess
so
with that.
did. You
We
so
have about
did.
are we good with like another 5 minutes? I just
Man,
wanted to
nah,
cut and
man, you
dash
good. I
that real
got a
quick.
good day, man. Whatever works for you, bro. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. I never heard anyone do that before, by the way.
Nobody.
When you
Nobody.
get older, you'll start seeing, there's a lot of similarity between that game and life. But
I learned that
I
Sunday,
digress.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
mean, while we're on,
digress.
Jaden, have you picked up golf at all? Is it a thing?
It's not a thing. Mainly because you have to devote all your time to it, and
It
it's
is
got
a
to be the
time-consuming
thing.
game.
You can't share that sport
So that's a
if you want
later
to be
on.
great at it.
Yeah, no, I
That's
understand.
that's what I've learned watching him and how dedicated he is. So
Yeah, yeah.
once I get a little older and
You'll settle into it.
we'll see. probably.
Yeah,
But
we went and played with you last 2 weeks ago. We had a
Okay.
good
yeah,
time. We played
yeah,
9 holes, so it was a good time. Anytime I can spend time
horrible.
with him
He's shaking
is
it. He said,
always a win.
"What is it? Good
Yeah.
or
No,
different
it was
perspectives?"
fun. It was a good time. But yeah,
But the
he
execution
whooped all of
wasn't
us.
where you'd want it to be. I'm sure.
Nah,
Takes a lot
no,
of
no, no.
time, man.
He whooped all of us. Yeah.
I hit the driving range a few times.
Yeah.
It's not what it looks like. It's a lot of fine tuning.
Yeah, a lot of
Yep.
fun tuning.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
true.
Man. Okay, Jaden, I know you have I think you have a tour coming up, right? Can you share anything about
Yes,
that?
sir. Yeah, so in the next 2 weeks I'll be with Israel in Brazil. We do a quick run there. And then in August we do some stuff in Asia. We do London, and then we do I think Ireland and one more spot. So he's out. This will be the longest I've done anything with Israel. He
Wow.
hasn't really, well, from since I've been around, we've never like toured. You know,
So it's
it'll
a
be
big
like,
one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're doing stuff all the way until I think late October or early November. So it'll
Wow.
be cool.
That
Um,
sounds good. Congrats on that.
yeah.
Enjoy that
Appreciate that, man.
experience. How does it
Yes,
work for
sir.
you? I mean, for you both. I mean, being on the road for yourself right now, Jaden, and then, coming back and staying, well, not even coming back, just staying rooted in church, but more so in your home church.
Well, it's again, my heart plays a big part in it, and I grew up in that church. It's my home church. I'd
Yeah.
do anything to get there and see my grandmother, my grandfather, and all of that. So it's never like a challenge or like a what if I just missed this one Sunday or just
Right.
is 9 times out of 10 if I'm missing a Sunday that is usually a sacrifice. But that's home for me, man. So I try to be
Yeah.
there as often as I can, even if that means catching 5 a.m. flights to get back at 8:30,
Yeah.
go straight from the airport to sound check, all of that. I've done that plenty of times, more than I can count, literally. So,
Dedication.
but
Yeah. That's
it's
commitment.
yeah, it's worth it. There's never been a time where I've dreaded that, you know.
Yeah. No, I love that. Um,
Yeah, man.
and just as you mentioned, your grandmother, your grandfather, powerful. My gosh.
Mhm.
You
Yes,
have a
Lord.
The
power.
greatest.
You have some powerful pastors there. There's a here's what I'm thinking as I'm thinking about this thought. There is all the churches in the world are live streaming now, right? And a lot of times, I would probably bet that it's almost like you have to be in the room to truly experience what's happening, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But when you watch The Bridge, it's like the power, the anointing comes through the screen. It's different than a lot of churches. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's very rare that, and I mean, that's a matter, that could be, a combination of, what's going on in the church, the power in the church, in the building, but also the execution on the live stream. Because if you're missing that, then you're going to be missing, the depth
Absolutely.
of worship and what's happening there. I don't want to get into all that because there's a lot of execution stuff. So I'm going to have to get a part 2 or something
Man.
because I have a million more
Yeah.
questions, but maybe I'll get you to leave everybody with this and you can maybe both chime in on this, just as far as preparation as a musician, as a worship pastor, as a worship leader, music director. What is your preparation mentally, spiritually, and actually musically? Because I think those might be the 3 components that are important and key.
Yeah.
What?
Preparation. Spiritually, let's start there. You can't take people to a place that you don't go.
Mm,
Can't lead them to a place that you don't know where you're going. I think that's one of the tragedies of a lot of times our worship experiences is
mm,
you have people that are leading worship that have no earthly idea where they're going,
mm,
what the destination is. And I think that is likely because if you don't spend time with him outside of the platform, uh, whenever you get on the platform, y'all are strangers.
mm.
You're trying to figure each other out. You're trying to figure him out. But if you
Right.
spend time with the person, like because I've spent time with Jaden, I know Jaden.
Yeah.
I can see Jaden walk and say, yeah, yeah, I know. I know he's my son. There's a knowing. And when you have that knowing, it is like there's certain things that you don't even have to say because I know him.
Right.
But you can't get
That's
that
true.
if you don't know. So spiritually, I'm saying it starts off the platform. When I show up on the platform, all you're getting is my overflow. You're not getting the
Mm,
main thing. You're getting the overflow.
that's big.
So that's very important. Preparation as it pertains to playing and your musicianship. Learn the song. I am a classically trained musician. I did that in undergrad,
Mm,
and one thing that I learned about classical, one thing that it taught me was you cannot improv Bach.
mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to read what's on that paper and play
Right. Right.
exactly what was intended. And so I took that approach with everything else. I'm going to listen to a song and I'm going to learn it the way the artist intended, how
Mm,
they played it.
yeah.
I feel like I cannot improv on something that I haven't already mastered.
True.
Master it first, now improv. That's just respecting the craft. So I something that I challenge all of our musicians with, like, don't show up and be playing around the arrangement. Play the arrangement first. Play the
Mm,
parts. Play the parts. I want to hear if there's a set pattern. I want to hear that first. And now you've shown me that, okay, you can improv on that. That's very, very important to me. To me, that's foundational stuff that has
right.
to be established. And that helps too. That's our culture. Show up with it prepared,
Yep.
show up knowing it. Then we can improv from there. Don't just be like, I'm just going to, we're going to see what the Lord's going to do. No, you lazy.
Yeah.
That ain't spontaneity. You lazy.
Wow. Say that
One
again.
thing that
Wow.
is taught me was is structured spontaneity. To you, it may feel like it's spontaneous. No, but it's structured. I've thought about this arrangement. What you're experiencing on the other side of the live stream
Yeah.
oftentimes is the result of me and Jaden sitting in my piano room and we're talking through arrangements. And we're
Makes
saying,
sense.
yo, cut this bridge because this bridge is going to take too long. Okay, this key right here, it works here, but this key is too low for the congregation to sing, so it won't cut through. Let's change this key so that when we go to
Mm,
the next song, it's a free flow. So that stuff happens before we show up on Sunday mornings. That's preparation,
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's important. So, yeah, Jed, take it away, buddy.
Yeah. I'll tackle the spiritual aspect as well. For me personally, I've always asked the Lord to help me remain sensitive to whatever is going on. I take sensitivity very seriously.
Mm,
Um, just cause I mean, the weight that we carry being on that, you know, platform, I don't like using that term, but the weight that
Yeah.
we carry,
yeah.
ushering these people into the presence of God is not something that you can like, you know, joke with or like just be like what he said. We'll just see what the Lord does. It's way deeper than that. So and it shows when you show up and you know the big intro in verse 2, but when the vamp comes, you're flaming.
Hmm.
You know, that kind of taints the entire environment. Energy is important too. Keeping everybody's spirits high just through through a leadership perspective.
True. True.
Just being encouraging and all of those things. But in terms of preparation musically, of course, what I said, I agree with that there also. But my thing has always been what he said to learn the music, um, but figure out how can I enhance this or add some sort of value to this from where I stand,
So,
Yeah.
whether that's
yeah.
bass, piano, guitar, or anywhere. Just what can I do that will help this moment lift or, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so I practice that a lot. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just show up and be like, okay, Lord, play through me. Whatever
Mhm.
whatever you think should happen here, I'm not gonna go against the grain or anything. You are in
In
control of
control.
my
In
hands. He is at
control.
all times. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my main thing, man. I'm very dialed in on the music. And then in terms of learning music, I'm a lyrics driven guy anyway. Me learning a
Okay.
song it's not just me learning the parts. I'm gonna recognize each section by the lyrics.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That's big. Yeah.
me, yeah, and that helps with my position now at the church where I'm running playback and I'm communicating with the worship leaders and the vocalists. You know, you'll see me yelling parts or you'll see verse two. Sometimes I'll even sing the first lyrics of verse two. I got that from him and shout
That's
out William
big.
Garcia.
That's big.
Um, but yeah, that stuff is important, man. So I, I try to use, I try to use these to my advantage. How can I help, you know, whoever's
Yeah.
at the forefront or whoever's assisting and carrying this mantle? So yeah,
That's big. Yeah.
those are my main things, man.
Oof. That's a
Man,
lot. That's a
I
lot to
just got to
take
say
in.
this before,
Yeah.
man, to hear my son just, man, this is, yeah, man.
It's
It's
big. It's a
awesome. This
big
is
moment.
awesome,
Yeah.
man. This is
We don't do
awesome.
these
Honestly.
often, man. I
We
can tell you
don't,
the
man.
first or last time me and him have done a podcast together.
Well, I'll tell
Oh,
you what, let's
man.
do another one, man. Don't
Absolutely.
let's get
Part two
together, man.
would be fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
So
love to get
proud
into
of you,
some
sir.
execution things, talk a little deeper on the music, talk about building patches and some of the stuff the musicians want to hear too. But
Yes,
honestly,
sir.
I thank you both so much for taking the time. Tea time is coming up, so we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there. But honestly,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I think what you helped to create in my mind and in other whoever's listening's mind is a bigger picture. It's not just okay. These guys are amazing musicians. On tour, awards, the whole nine. It's a lot bigger than that. But it's also not just they're nice guys with good characters and some integrity. It's a lot bigger than that too, because what you painted the picture of is a true relationship with God, and that kind of spills. Is that the right word? Carries over to other aspects, every aspect.
Yeah.
Even what you said, Jaden, just like knowing the lyrics, knowing the singer's parts. You don't necessarily need to know that. A lot of us get by without knowing that. But that just shows the level of excellence that you go for. And like the wholeness of the song, because there is a big difference when you're playing the song because you like the changes versus you're playing the song, you like the changes, and it's speaking to your heart, and you understand what it's saying to other people too. So I
That's
thank you
where
both.
transformation takes place.
That's
That's
what,
how
yeah,
transformation, that's
wow,
how you have a transformative experience is when everyone takes on that mentality. The
right,
awesomeness, the responsibility that we
right,
carry.
right,
Because somebody is on the other side of this. And I'll say this in Iraq. We was in the service and we tapped in and got allowed to tap into a moment. And it was powerful. And a guy came up to me and he said, man, just want to tell you, um, just want to say thank you for the worship experience, what you guys were able to just tap into. He said, because I was planning on leaving here and committing suicide.
wow, wow,
Question I want to leave our listeners, our friends with is what would have happened had we shown up with it's just another Sunday? Or Jaden showed up with, just going to do enough to get by.
yeah, wow,
You see on the other side of the responsibility that we have.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
I just want to encourage everyone, while I know it's hard and we all have our frustrations, don't lose sight of the main thing. God
mm,
has given us a gift. With that gift comes stewardship and accountability.
mm,
And there's somebody's peace, somebody's breakthrough, somebody's
yeah,
marriage being restored.
yeah,
It's oftentimes on the other side of your yes.
hmm,
So
wow,
don't lose your yes. Stay encouraged, my brothers and my sisters. Don't lose your yes, because somebody, whether they tell you or not, somebody's life is being transformed. So, Anthony, thank you.
wow.
We got
Thank
some
you
stuff that we're
both.
working on that we're going to share with y'all later on. Jaden is working on some stuff, some patches,
Now,
some
okay,
apps,
we'll stay
some
tuned
all
for that.
kinds of. It's going to be crazy. So just
Oh man,
keep
we
your
got to talk
eyes and
about
your
that.
ears open.
We need to
Yeah,
talk about
it's
that.
about to be
Okay.
crazy. It's about to be
That's
crazy.
awesome.
So
All right. We'll
Yes,
okay,
stay in
sir.
touch and yeah, keep me posted on anything you have coming up. And if we'll do this again, man, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I want you to shout out, wherever people can follow your journeys, whatever you want to share, the Bridge Frisco, let people know where they can tune in and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
So the Bridge Frisco, On YouTube, we are the Bridge Frisco Band. On Instagram, it's Bridge Frisco Band as well. My social media is Jaden C. Baker, and I'll be on there when I be on there. But from time to
Yeah,
time, I'll post what I got going on.
that's it. That's it.
He worse
we're
than me. He laughing.
we're the
He worse
worst,
than me.
man. We're the worst with social media and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, man. We will
yeah,
promise to do better. Promise.
It's all good.
yeah.
All good. I
Cool.
appreciate you both. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm sure you were blessed as I was just by this conversation today. Everybody stay blessed. And until the next time, take care.
Take care.